Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is Professor Anime. Welcome back to, yet again, another Boruto, Naruto Next Generations episode review. Today, we are going to be discussing episode 47 of Boruto, so without further ado, let us jump into it. Okay, so when it comes down to episode 47 of Boruto, we actually see the conclusion to the... let's just call this the Robin Hood arc, okay? Because, let's be honest, this whole kind of theme regarding the noble thieves and what have you in this little arc of Boruto that we just concluded in has kind of had a Robin Hood aspect to it, you know? But anyways, regardless, this arc... personally, I felt that it was actually quite entertaining. I mean, it was probably the best original arc that we have seen of Boruto so far. You know, of course, you know, the Sarada arc is a whole lot better, but that was actually written from Masashi Kishimoto himself in the, you know, his own continuation of the Naruto series. But when it comes down to, you know, original story, like... this arc that we saw in Boruto was actually quite entertaining. Now, of course, that isn't to say that this was the best arc of Boruto that we have seen. I think we still have a couple ways to go before we actually get into, like, a really, really good arc that introduces great characters, has a very interesting story to it, and overall just a lot of action to what we can expect out of, you know, a Naruto series, or in this case, Boruto, you know. So while this series, or excuse me, this arc was good, I don't think it's the best that, you know, has been shown of Boruto so far. I think we still have a little bit of time until we actually get to, you know, really hype points, but, you know, we'll get to that when we get to that. But slowly but surely, Boruto is becoming a little bit more interesting when it comes down to certain events that have been played out within the series, and I'm actually liking the character interactions that have been shown. So far, so good. So, in this episode of Boruto, we finally get to see the conclusion regarding the whole Ryoji situation and how he has technically been manipulated by his master of the Byakuya gang, who eventually turns on him in the very end of this episode, which was to be expected because this is all simply, you know, what this man wants. He, you know, he only cares about himself. And we even, you know, got to figure out that apparently he was actually the individual that ended up killing his parents. Now, we did know this, of course, but we did see kind of like a hired assassin within Ryoji's flashback, but it turns out that basically the leader of the Byakuya gang put Ryoji in a genjutsu into which it kind of reworked his memories, so to speak, as to what happened on that day, I believe, and that caused him to see someone else attacking his parents, when in reality, it was actually his master. We got to see a little bit of cool action within this episode of Boruto, but nothing was particularly groundbreaking by any means, but the animation up to the very end of the fight, I would say, with Ryoji, Shikadai, and Boruto was definitely probably one of the best moments of the episode. Like, the animation looked really good. And, yo, I laughed so hard when we eventually see, you know, Ryoji snapped out of the genjutsu, and, you know, he's safe with Shikadai and Boruto, and then all of a sudden you see this yellow light just pass by them, and I'm like, whoa, was that was that Naruto? You know? And as soon as we see the next, you know, scene change when it comes down to the leader who was trying to escape with the scroll, I'm like, yeah, this has to be definitely Naruto. Only Naruto would be going that fast, you know, and actually has the capability of going that fast and would go after the scroll, because to him, as the Hokage, he takes everything very personally when it comes down to stuff that involves his village, and lo and behold, what we expect is Naruto right then and there stopping the train and pretty much ending the leader, and he ends up getting interrogated by the Leaf Village at the very end of this episode, while Ryoji, on the other hand, actually gets sent to prison. And you know what? I am so glad on that factor. I mean, we actually have someone who is sent to prison finally. for a, you know, crime that he committed. I mean, sure, Ryoji wasn't entirely at fault, but he still participated in these activities along with, you know, the leader of the Byakuya gang. So while it might not be entirely his fault, his actions play a big role to the fault at hand, and that is what caused him to eventually get wound up in jail and for him to serve time. And I'm so glad that happened, because sometimes within, you know, certain parts of the Naruto series, we actually had certain villains, you know, kind of, you know, getting away scot-free, you know, so to speak. Like, they turn over a new leaf. And while we do see Ryoji, you know, in this cell, and for however long he's going to be in, you know, the cell until we eventually see him in, you know, following episodes to come, you know, we do know at heart that he's not entirely a bad individual. He never really has been. It's just the fact that he has been manipulated and used, but he still had a choice when it came down to the actions he had committed. And I'm glad that he kind of accepts this at fact. And Shikadai and Boruto are willing to wait for him until he gets out so that one day, you know, they can play shogi and just hang out. And honestly, I'm just glad that Studio Pierrot made that decision to eventually, you know, throw him in prison. But if they show him within the next, like, episode or something, like, I'm just gonna be like, yo, come on, are you serious? You know? But I highly doubt that is the case. It's probably gonna be a while until we see Ryoji again, but I'm at least glad that Studio Pierrot decided to, you know, throw Ryoji in prison for him to serve time and keep him under surveillance until the time being, until he is ready to come back out and basically start anew. But yeah, with this arc of Boruto, we actually got some really good development with Shikadai. The dynamic between Ryoji and Shikadai, like I said, was great throughout this arc, and just seeing, you know, more screen time with Shikadai is always great. Personally, I have to admit that Shikadai is probably my favorite character of the Boruto series so far. Like, just the shine that he has been getting, and just, you know, his overall personality, I just love it. I really do. So, yeah, when it comes down to this arc of Boruto, I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of good moments that we had in it. It was interesting, and it also kind of brought up some moral dilemmas. So yeah, I really enjoyed this arc. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, what you guys thought about this arc of Boruto. What did you think about it? Do you think it was probably the best original arc that we have seen of the Boruto series so far, or do you think, you know, the other original arcs have topped this arc? Just let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Boruto is at least getting interesting? I mean, it's certainly not the best series out there. I mean, it's Boruto, but I mean, it is at least getting quite entertaining from what I have seen so far, and pretty soon we are going to hit the adaptation, the TV adaptation of the Boruto movie. Really soon, around episode 50, I believe. So I think we might, with this arc concluding, we are actually going to get at least 3 episodes worth, I believe, maybe 2, of filler. And with that, we will then head into the anime adaptation of the Boruto movie with original content that was cut out by Masashi Kishimoto himself, just due to time constraints. But within this adaptation, we will actually begin to see that really soon, which will add on to the lore and story of the Boruto series, and I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, with that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed. Hit that red subscribe button down below if you want to see more. And with that said, everyone, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.